Hello, Franziska. Welcome to the podcast at Subscribe. How are you today?
Hi, Pius. I'm pretty fine. The sun is shining in lovely winter wonderland, at least on the temperature side. I'm in a good mood. I hope you too.
It's actually true. I'm fantastic. Thank you. I have nothing to complain, only good news. And that's why I'm even more excited to speak to you. But before we start, Franziska, we have a small icebreaker. I stole this from the podcast, or I borrowed it from the podcast from a friend of mine, Helmut Steckel. And this icebreaker is 10 seconds laughing. So are you ready to laugh? And it needs to be artificial. Like the more artificial, the better. Are you ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1.
It's really hard.
You can also see the letters like,
It's so hard.
okay.
I never did
Okay.
it. So first, I never did it, but I think it's like screaming. You need to maybe more go through the emotions. Screaming
Congrats.
loud, laugh loud. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we humans, we don't laugh enough and we don't hug enough.
Yeah, you get virtual hug here now.
A virtual hug for you too. Yeah. Well, in our podcast, we love to speak with founders like yourself. I think Lucas might be late or not coming, which is normal as a founder, but we knew that before the podcast. So yeah, I just would love to hear about first your background and motivation. So what made you become one of those founders to start with?
It's actually a good question how to somehow tell the story how I got here, because somehow I had already 7 lives, especially in the professional matter. Maybe a bit about my background. I grew up in a small village, an environment with a biologist as a father, so my connection to nature was quite close, also in understanding all the vegetations and stuff like this. I was collecting frogs every Saturday with him from one side of the street to the other to count the frogs and how was the status quo of nature of the forest. So somehow this was the beginning, but I never was interested in biology, like studying it. I was always looking into the economy of topics. And I was also quite interested in media and culture. So I studied economy and media. And this has been also my first steps in my work experience. I did a lot of film production. I even produced cinema movies as a production assistant, but I was in big American production teams in Germany. I did documentary stuff like this, and then I quickly realized, want to go more to online marketing. I want to use my skill set, and through all the steps and through all the journeys in different enterprises, media houses, agencies, etc., I realized I'm not this kind of employee. I'm more a Duracell. And actually, I have too much energy and I want to shape things where I see there are big problems. For me, during this time and in one of my last positions as a head of sales in a financial capital magazine, I listened to the CEOs of lots of corporates, especially in the financial industry, and I realized that there's big trouble going on based on the greenwashing scandals, based on the whole legislation change of the green economy. And there were a lot of scandals based on fake communication, fake ratings. And I'm kind of a nerd. I try to understand it. And I'm somehow by heart journalist, try to nerd and understand the systems behind it, behind the ratings, behind the whole greenwashing scandals. And this was actually somehow the moment where the first idea of Rethink was born, because I've realized you need data. You need data not just to inform your stakeholders like the banks and asset managers, investors into it, but you also need really transparent data to act on it, to get resilient. Yeah, during this Sherlock time, I also met Lucas, one of my fantastic co-founders, and he started his own company as an attorney during this time, and quite quickly realized, come on, we need to go all in. But to verify this idea a bit closer, we need a technical co-founder. And through friends of friends, we got invited and connected with Markus, and he actually worked a few years in data science and machine learning and in this field. And we decided it's a fit. And of course, it's not like happening from one day to another. There are lots of meetings in between, a lot of long night sessions and early morning readings and link ping pong. I'm sure you're aware of it, how things and ideas are growing and they are somehow catching you up and you can't stop going deeper and understand the thing.
What about you as a child? Because, that's all interesting, but it doesn't really tell the full picture. It tells the picture that investors want to hear. What happened in your, the audience was here, but what happened in your childhood where like, Franziska, this was really what drove me to do something myself. You said you're like a Duracell, you're like a high energy person. So where is this coming from? Any memory from it? I can tell you for me, but it's boring. I'm telling it each time.
Yeah, I'm sorry for my parents because they went through few phases from myself. I think it was somehow the parenting that they always encouraged me and always gave me the freedom. Especially my mom always said like, do it, just do it. And they also like knew that you need to explore things and you need to, find your way and your passion. I was always allowed to like try it out, go all in, find my answers into it, and if I fail, do again. I mean, I don't remember any like failings, but I know I grew up in this kind of freedom and pushing of like doing my stuff. And I think a lot of the things are happening, or like if I'm looking to people who are frustrated in the things they are doing because they don't allow to like try it out. They don't allow themselves to fail. They don't allow to like look into another direction. But I think for myself, I don't know, I somehow went through it and realized where I'm feeling the most out of my skill set, the most
And that's
out
it,
of...
Rethink, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is Rethink doing now? So you went to this journey and you did all the things. So why Rethink? Yeah, you could have done Rethink, but you did Rethink. So what's the story about that? You could have done so many businesses and so many jobs, but you decided for that after all.
Yeah. I think because I was bored of all the marketing and media stuff, I didn't want to play any role. It would be easy to go into a CRM, sales, marketing, whatever, but I was somehow fed up with the industry. I wanted to like catch up something completely new, and I want to nail it down and understand topics which are really intriguing me. I think climate change and biodiversity loss is like a completely urgent topic where I'm always like looked up in the first years of the Greta Thunberg demonstrations, like, shush, the younger generation, they did it. They protested, they did something against it, and they created a movement which actually took on the waves also in like the global politics. At least this is my point of view. Without them, we wouldn't be most probably in the Green Deal. We wouldn't have this discussions and this movement. And for me, this is my distribution in the moment where I was ready to contribute in it and dive deeper. Based on my background, based on which kind of values I grew up, for me it was a fit then.
Okay. I'm throwing now some sort of curveball. What's happening right now in the world? Like, how do you see this impacting nature sustainability? Like, what's your perspective on politically? What's your perspective on the impact on what you're doing right now?
Yeah. Even if we unfortunately need to face a lot of backlash, a lot of changes in global politics and prioritization, not just of politics, but also of the economy and like dealing with it, I'm still absolutely confident that this topic won't go away, that it has an absolutely necessity to translate all the scientific facts into usable platforms, into usable ways and strategies so that our society, and I'm seeing it really holistically and not claiming just politics and not just enterprises, but all of us needs to face a new way of resilience, needs to find new ways, get better into the topic because we can't ignore the facts. So I think few things will get a bit under a new framing. And I think even this is a maturity, maybe the Gartner cycle, like every topic has always like a hype. We've been an absolutely hype curve of ESG. And now we are somehow in a moment of consolidation to find like a practical way in a few things. So it's a normal, if you see like any changes, it's going always through waves. So
as long as trending upwards, yeah, as long as trending upwards. Yeah. Yeah, let's leave this topic for now. It's also a hot topic, kind of. So yeah, talking about change and being a founder, what changed when you became a founder? And what do you think changed also for Lucas and in your life? Or was it the same? Was it like the same as before? Like no difference?
The first thing is you are working as hell, and I think it never will stop. It's more aligning the passion you have and the topic you want to feel. It allows you even more directing the topic, which is for me especially really, really important. Of course, you need to sacrifice. You don't have the money you used to have before as an employee. So
what's your thinking about money? I mean, money is a topic for me because I realized recently with my therapist that 3 topics, 2 I don't want to share. But one was about my relationship with money. I went in becoming a founder and it worked well in the beginning when I never spent a lot of money. But then I came to a point where it became difficult to me. It wasn't big, the delta. It was like maybe 300 or minus every month. So basically I went into the absolute limit and it forced me now to think about budgeting. And I didn't want to see it because it doesn't suit my personality, my ego, I guess. And that's something that happened to me. So I just want to open up with something I learned about myself, wasn't aware, and not going out too much anymore. So yeah, that's mine. What about yourself?
I quite often I lived in the moment and enjoyed the moment and didn't I think I could have a better depot if I wouldn't be like this. But I even a few years before I started Rethink, I realized that I want to have a buffer. I want to have enough money to experiment and be prepared for this kind of phase and don't feel too much under pressure of running out of money. So it was a kind of discipline, and you always need to sacrifice. If you have money, you need to sacrifice and don't have enough time spending it with family and friends. It's always a trade-off, mostly. So for me, it was like a trade-off and sacrifice, and sometimes to have the freedom to do what you want to do, to have the capacity, also monetary side. So this is my way of dealing with it. Yeah. Planning it, budgeting it. And sometimes also it's important to taking risks where it's necessary. Yeah.
So money was one topic. And then what about your friends and family? How did the relationship change to them when you started creating a business?
They've been really, really supportive. I mean, my family didn't understand what I was doing. I think they still don't understand what I'm doing, but it's okay. They are happy about the steps I'm doing. And it was one sweet topic when we actually officially started Rethink as a company. My mom wrote me a long letter that she was proud and that it was the same age as she started a company. And she told me, like, she gave me just one advice. And she said, like, you're starting it with 2 partners. And I can tell you, I don't know what you're doing, but what I can tell you, one of the most important things into doing business, especially with partners together, is trust each other. And this was actually one of the best advices because this is a base, like having a really trustfully relationship, even if it's tough. Oh gosh, we have a lot of discussions, but this is like the core value in working together and starting a business. So this was the advice of my mom.
Love it, yeah.
And my friends are amazing. I mean, they know it's now a complete change. Before we were partying hard and enjoyed life, and I completely switched to a workaholic. So they're absolutely in it, accepting it, supporting it, accepting it that I'm falling asleep at 10 o'clock on their sofa because I'm not having any energy to like doing anything, and are caring. Yeah.
Okay. So now you're partying hard on doing working hours on your work. And what would you tell younger Franziska when she starts the company? So is there anything you would tell her, to any advice you would give younger Franziska when she starts the business?
I would tell her start much, much earlier the business. This is the only advice. Yeah, I don't know.
I would do the same.
Yeah, this is the only thing. I mean, I don't want to miss the experiences I did, but I think I could. Actually, I don't need them. So yeah.
You never know what you miss if you don't miss it, in a way.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I think still, yeah.
And how, how is I know you have a partner. So how is your partner managing this? I mean, the partner is always closer to the person working, I think, than anyone else. If you go home, you're like, what tips would you give yourself and other founders to make it great when you start a company?
I mean, thanks God, we had already quite a deep relationship before I started the business. So I think I can't compare it how it is if you are starting a business and then starting a relationship. I think for us it was important, but I don't know how it is. I don't know the difference. So what I would advise is, first of all, my partner knew that I absolutely want to do it, and he absolutely supported it. If he would not do it, I think most probably we won't be together anymore, because for me it's important. But what was really funny, and I'm sometimes like really reflecting it, and I'm also like I'm saying officially like thank you and have gratitude for it, that he also goes through with me the roller coaster ride, and even uses the vocabulary of mine and asks me questions, which is so funny because we both had news and didn't have the understanding before, but now we're making jokes about term sheets and about investors and yeah, all the stuff and the VC
That's
world
nice.
and
That's
startup
nice.
world. So what I did, I think it was important, especially the change from the relationship or from the starting point of the company and the first months and year, was like, come on, I need you in this role. Maybe you need sometimes be my coach or whatever, or my sparring partner. I need you to listen to me. I need you to understand in which circumstances I'm right now, or which kind of pressure is going on. And because otherwise you can't react on where I am. And this kind of transparency and also communication was, I think, and is the key why we are still together. I never would doubt about it, but I think it's communication is the key, and having like time also or moments where you can update yourself. Like we have once a week, even during the week, a breakfast. Or try to have a breakfast together.
Once a week breakfast. Okay, that's your tip. So if your founder wants a tip breakfast, okay, I'm gonna note that for myself. Obviously, for me, it didn't work so well. The advice I can give, do the opposite of me, that everything will be fine.
And starting a new hobby together, we started cycling together, and it's really cool. I mean, last summer, we started cycling at 5 a.m. in the morning, went for a 3 hours tour, and took the shop, take a breakfast, and have been ready at 8:30 for the first call. So yeah.
Yeah, you're very collaborative, so that helps. Lucas too. I think it's not about the founder really, it's about the personality ultimately, right? And as a founder, it's kind of amplified because it's like a catalyst, right? Yeah, I think to me, I just became more selfish. Even like no selfish, like it's bad term, more controlling, even more working. I was working a lot before already. I feel like I never wanted to allow myself to be like I wished to. And I think I can sustain it actually I taught myself how to do it. But I think the flip side is that, yeah, I think it's very hard being with someone like that. I have to be honest, like I even sometimes don't want to be with myself. This is where it starts, like I'm just tired of my own self and thoughts. Like not in a way that I don't like myself, but I think in a way that I'm sometimes thinking, oh man, Pius, this is just a lot of stuff. And, I wanted to have breakfast with my partner. I wanted to have hobbies, and I didn't find and access my day in a way that I find the energy for that. So I think it's like I was just giving, or I am giving everything to the business, and I was just taking it as granted, I guess.
But I think, I don't think, and this is actually advice my dad gave me, even when I was a school kid and a student. He told me like, and I tended to be a workaholic even there, like doing what passionate, the stuff I'm doing. But he told me, and he taught me like, one key lesson: it's not helpful if you work as hell. Your body and your soul needs to recharge, and you need to teach yourself to have moments where you can recharge, where you can get the energy back, where you can completely do in your mind something different, even if you enjoy work, even if you enjoy doing the stuff. I think this is really important, and I'm seeing it. Even I would love to do it more and escalate it even more intense. But at the end, it's not helpful, and it's not helping you, and even not your business, if you don't take care of yourself. It's like the general advice which everyone is saying, like even for childcare or whatever. First step is taking care of yourself so that you can do most out of it. So maybe this is a starting point for you.
100%. Yeah, I see it the same way. I'm exploring now how to take care of myself. And I think it's actually a great learning, because I came from a amazing previous relationship. I was very lucky with my partner 3.5 years, and we never really had any fights or struggles. And because of that, I'm generally like thankful for our time. I think the way I see it as well is, like you said, like, yeah, finding time for myself, and I'm struggling a bit because I was working so much. And I think it's exactly what you say. I felt it. I felt it even in the relationship for myself, that something is off. You just know when there's nothing in the tank anymore, and you're kind of like on, like in Mad Max, you're just putting the diesel in while you're driving, and that because there's nothing in it. And that's how I feel I have been operating. There's really, there can be no one next to you, because it's just destructive. It's like in this train. So you need to find time to recharge. I was working on weekends for, I think, 6 months or so, and weekend. So yeah, I think it's just enough.
And it's like, you even start baby steps, like give yourself half a day or even a whole day. Start with step by step, and you will see how it
What's the
helps.
best day to take off? Is it Monday or Friday or Wednesday?
Saturday is my love day, and I would love to have this as a free day. You can have a long evening on Friday if you want. You can go to nature. You can meet friends. You can even go to shops if you need to.
Saturday?
The markets. Oh gosh, Saturday is the best day to day off for taking off.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. For me, the Saturdays are now pretty lonely. No, I'm kidding. It's great. So yeah, let's go back to Rethink. So what is your next big milestone as a founder to help biodiversity flourish more and don't be so lonely in this world? Yeah. How can we make biodiversity less lonely?
Yeah, we have a fully filled roadmap. We where to prioritize. I mean, we have a bunch of fantastic clients, and we are learning day by day and have new ideas and a lot of features in mind to crack the code of the climate biodiversity nexus. And I think what is the most important thing is to listen to the moments, to the lessons we are learning day by day, week by week, because I don't want to be stubborn about the roadmap. We have a vision, we have a mission, but there's so many change going on, especially in the topic, the maturity of the market and how it evolves, and the mold and the pushes around there. So I think the most important thing is to execute as we did with the space, and to be close on our roadmap, but also to react and be flexible of all the things which are going on around this topic. So we are fully on the mission to launch new features, to even set up LLM mitigation strategies. We are fully on it to include more and more metrics for financial impact, and the quantification of nature is like absolutely a keystone to even convince the critics in companies about the necessity to assess the data. And I think I have the biggest fun in doing my job into convincing a critiker into a believer about it. This is really, really fun. There's, especially in the moment and the circumstances where we are right now, the biggest, how do you say, halo, the biggest
leverage
into like having real impact on what we are doing with our data, with our platform. So I really love to go deeper with.
What's the biggest value your biggest clients gets out of your platform, or where do you think? Do you have a memory? Like, you don't have to be specific, but where do you one time really help the customer to solve something that you were like afterwards, hey, wow, this is like amazing?
Yeah, I think we can't give it into numbers because our clients are still at the beginning of like understanding it. And the biggest value right now is understanding risks, knowing what are and quantifying the risk to set up like the next steps. And it's a process. It's not like you are buying an app and you are solving your dietary habit. It's like really a holistic approach where you need a strategy to set up the ship of the enterprise or a department into the proper direction. And I think what we want to even go more into, besides the risk, into looking more into the opportunities. How do companies can see opportunity in saving costs or getting new business opportunities or new strategies? I think this is even also a big fun part of it, and to create the possibility of new opportunities for businesses.
It's beautiful. Yeah, thanks. And what is we're coming out at the end of the webinar. What is one thing you want to tell your customers about Rethink and why they should come and try you?
Yeah, I think
Speak to them, to our massive audience of 200 listeners.
Dear sustainability managers, risk controllers, CFOs, CEOs, stakeholders of the industry, I would love to get the chance to speak for, even if it's just 15 minutes with you, to show you which massive platform we created with Rethink to help you to understand your journey, to interact with nature, de-risk the risk of climate change, and also shaping with you a new resilience for your business, for your production sites, for your value chain, and I'm happy to jump into a deeper conversation. We have a fantastic team of scientists and engineers behind us who are shaping with us a new sphere in climate tech. Call me, Franziska at refinq.com. Thank you.
Nice. That's a beautiful pitch. Awesome. Hey, Franziska, it was great talking to you. I'm gonna stop the recording now.